In this lesson, we will learn how to navigate the Acumen 360 workspace and select our acceleration options. So if it's not already open, let's open our Sample 360 workbook by clicking the fuse icon on the top left and selecting Sample 360 workbook from recent workbooks. The Sample 360 workbook will open in the S1 Projects tab. Make sure that you have highlighted the 6-month update. Then click the Accelerate Schedule button. In the Accelerate Schedule window that opens, you will see the name of your selected project at the top of the window. The window is broken into 3 horizontal panes: Schedule Cleanser, Schedule Accelerator, and Acceleration for the project, shown as an orange bar. At the bottom of the window, there are 4 buttons: OK to accept and close the window, Edit Script. If this button is clicked, you will be taken to the S4 Acceleration tab. Advanced or Basic. This toggles between Advanced and Basic modes. Cancel to close without changes. Let's look at the top pane. The features of the Schedule Cleanser are identical to the features offered by the Cleanse Schedule button. We have redundant logic, hard constraints, soft constraints, remaining leads, remaining lags, and links on summaries. Each item in the list will contain an explanation of what is expected to be achieved by minimizing the impact from the selected item. The checkboxes in the Schedule Cleanser pane will be checked or unchecked if you have already made selections for cleansing your schedule. However, you can also make schedule cleanse selections directly in this top pane. In the top right of the Schedule Cleanser pane, there is a button for the assistant. Now, before we move on to the Schedule Acceleration pane, we need to fully understand the functionality of the Schedule Cleanser. Note that Cleanse Schedule was fully covered in my course Acumen Fuse Step by Step. So click Assistant and the full Cleanse Schedule dialog window will open. This will list all of the activities that could be cleansed. Here you can make selections or adjustments for cleansing your schedule. We won't select any of the options just yet, so just click OK to close the Schedule Cleanse window. Now, when you are using the Accelerate Schedule function, the use of the Schedule Cleanser is optional and may not be required. Remember, Schedule Cleanse can be performed completely independently of acceleration using the Cleanse Schedule button. Using this feature independently would create a scenario for the Cleanse Schedule, which you could then select for acceleration. Let's move down to the Schedule Accelerator pane. You'll see that there are 2 main tabs in this pane: Accelerate Schedule and Accelerate Activity. Select the Accelerate Schedule tab. You'll note that the current finish date for the 6-month update is the 18th of February 2013, and the current remaining duration is 689 days. On the left, we have 2 radio buttons. The first radio button is New Finish Date. Just to the right of this date is a calendar icon where we can manually select our new finish date. On the right is the New Finish Date slider where we can manually set the new finish date and accelerate the duration. Drag the slider to the left and right to see the effect on the new finish date and remaining duration. The impact of any changes made to the remaining duration will be shown graphically by the orange bar in the bottom pane. You'll see the start date, the original finish date, the new finish date, and the reduction goal in days. The second radio button is the best date possible. You would use this option if you wanted Acumen to automatically accelerate the date. Now, in the lower half of the Schedule Accelerator window, there's a scrollable list where you can select your acceleration script for targeted acceleration. This is where you would choose your script for refining the acceleration goal and criteria. You would normally use the default script during goal-based acceleration. So leave the script selection as normal acceleration. At the bottom of the dialog window, there is an Advanced button. It toggles between the advanced and basic settings. Now, when you run a 360 acceleration analysis, Acumen automatically calculates the level of detail required for the analysis. Click the Advanced button and you will see that the recommended setting box is checked for the acceleration mode. When this box is checked, it optimizes the balance between accuracy and speed. If you deselect this box, you will be able to manually select an appropriate acceleration mode from accurate to fast. In other words, if you choose accurate, you will override the automatic level and a slower analysis will be run. Conversely, if you choose fast, a faster but less accurate analysis will be run. Click the button again to return to the basic mode. Now, let's assume that we have made all our desired settings in the Accelerate Schedule window for the 6-month update. Click OK and another dialog window will open. This will be the Acceleration Results window that shows the results for the acceleration analysis for the project or scenario being analyzed. In this case, the project is the 6-month update. You will see the details of the initial settings as well as the results of the analysis. There will also be a dark grey, orange or light orange bar that shows the results graphically. So in the results you will see the number of iterations needed to converge out of the maximum iterations defined, the original, targeted and achieved goal dates, the targeted and achieved acceleration, the total number of days saved across all activities, the schedule compression efficiency. This defines the efficiency of our acceleration, and lastly, whether we achieved or partially achieved our acceleration goal. Now, at the bottom of the acceleration results window, we have 5 choices. Do not add scenario. If you click this button, the window will simply close and no scenario will be created. Next, add scenario. If you click this button, you will create a scenario based on the current results. Next, add scenario and try another script. This will create a scenario based on the current results, then return you to the Accelerate Schedule dialog window. Then you can try a different script and make adjustments if required. Next, we have Add Scenario and go to Forensics. This will create a scenario based on the current results, then transfer you to the Forensics window. In the Forensics window, you will be able to analyze differences between different scenarios and the base project. Our last option is Add Scenario and go to Diagnostics. This will transfer you to the S2 Diagnostics tab, where you can analyze, slice and dice, and compare metrics between different scenarios and projects. Please note that S2 Diagnostics and Forensics were covered fully in my course, Acumen Fuse, Step by Step. Click the cross to close this dialog window. If you have created any scenarios during this lesson, right-click on the first scenario and click Delete from the pull-down. Here is a tip on deleting scenarios. If you create a new scenario from an existing scenario, it will fall directly below the existing scenario with a suffix 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you want to delete all scenarios at once, select the scenario at the highest level and delete it. Now, say you wanted to delete scenario 3. You would just select it, then select Delete to get rid of it. That's fine, but it would delete any scenarios under it that originated from scenario 3. All scenarios above scenario 3 would remain untouched. So if you then decide to delete the original scenario, it would also delete scenarios 1, 2, and 3 below it. Close this workbook by clicking on the fuse icon in the top left corner, then clicking Close in the drop-down. A window will open that asks if you want to save the changes. Just click No to close the workbook without saving. In the next lesson, we will define goal-based acceleration and learn how to apply it to our analysis. In this lesson, we will define goal-based acceleration and learn how to apply it to our analysis. We will then analyze and compare our results. Let's open our Sample 360 workbook by clicking the fuse icon on the top left and selecting Sample 360 Workbook from Recent Workbooks. The Sample 360 workbook will open in the S1 Projects tab. Now, we're going to set up and run a goal-based acceleration analysis. So what is goal-based acceleration? This allows us to define a specific end date or goal. Acumen 360 will then automatically create a schedule scenario to meet that goal. Now, you can define your goal in a number of ways. It could be a target finish or goal date, the number of days to be accelerated, an acceleration percentage, or an automatic calculation by Acumen to determine the best date. So the typical steps for a goal-based acceleration are: cleanse the schedule if necessary, select the schedule or activity to be accelerated, select the acceleration goal or date, run the acceleration, compare the results. Let's run through a goal-based acceleration example. We are going to accelerate our schedule. Firstly, make sure that the Sample 360 workbook is open in the S1 Projects tab. Highlight the current schedule snapshot from the Projects pane. Then click the Accelerate Schedule button in the Scenario Generation group. For this example, we are going to ignore the Schedule Cleanse function and move directly to the Schedule Accelerator. Now, you'll see that the current finish date is the 4th of February 2014. We're going to accelerate our project by 3 weeks. So we're going to set a new finish date of the 14th of January 2014, 3 weeks before the current finish date. Make sure that the radio button for New Finish Date is selected. Then click the calendar icon and select the 14th of January 2014 for the new finish date. Next, we'll leave our default script of normal acceleration. Now click OK and you'll now see the results of our acceleration. The results tell us that we achieved our goal by 22 days and our achieved finish date is now the 13th of January 2014. At the bottom of the results window, click the button for Add Scenario and go to Forensics. You will be transferred to the Forensics tab and you'll note that the current schedule scenario has been added to the Analysis pane on the left. Let's clean up our Forensic Analysis pane so that we are only comparing current schedule and the current schedule scenario. In the top left, in the Create Analysis group, click the button to remove all projects from the forensic analysis. Then click the button for Create Analysis to open the Forensic Analysis wizard. Select Current Schedule as our base project and click Next. In the next dialog window, select the checkbox for Current Schedule Scenario. This will be our comparison project. Then click Next. In the next window, do not change any of the selections and click Finish. You'll see our two projects in the Analysis pane on the left. Currently, by default, the Projects button has been selected in the Forensics Checks group. You'll note that our remaining duration has gone down from 504 to 487 days. Now let's look and see how our remaining durations have changed. So click on the option for remaining duration. This time you'll see that 4 activities were identified and remaining duration has dropped for all of them. Now select Total Float. You'll note that 11 activities have been impacted. In 3 activities, the total float has reduced. It has increased for the remaining activities. So that's how we would accelerate our schedule using goal-based acceleration. We could also continue to compare our results in Timeline or S2 Diagnostics. Let's return to the S1 Projects tab, then right-click on the scenario and delete it. For the next part of this example, we are going to accelerate an individual activity. So highlight Current Schedule and then click the Accelerate Schedule button. This time we are going to accelerate an activity 0650 to the best date possible. Then we are going to compare our results in the Timeline, Forensics and Diagnostics tabs. Again, just ignore the Schedule Cleanser. In the Schedule Accelerator, select the tab for Accelerate Activity. Click the button to select Change Activity to accelerate. From the pop-up window, select Activity 0650, Internal Precoms, and click OK. You'll note that it is now the target activity. This time, select the radio button for Best Activity Date Possible. Then we'll leave our default script of normal acceleration. Then click OK to view the results. You'll see that the target was achieved. In the acceleration results window, you'll see 2 diamond icons. The black diamond represents the original activity finish date on the 18th of December 2013, and the green diamond is the achieved activity finish date of the 21st of February 2013. This time, just select the button for Add Scenario. The window will close and you'll see the scenario in the Projects pane on the left. Now, this time we want to compare our scenario timeline with the original project timeline. So select the button for the Activities view in the top menu. Check the left-hand boxes at the highest level in the Timeline column to select all activities for the 2 schedules that you're comparing. Let's add a bit of color to the timeline. So in the pull-down for Timeline view, select the option for different colors. Click on the button for Timeline view so that we can compare the timelines. Use the lens magnifier at the bottom to compare the project finish dates. You will see that the original project finish date for the current schedule was the 4th of February 2014. In the accelerated scenario, the project finish date is the 3rd of June 2013. Next, we'll compare the results in Forensics. So, click the Forensics tab. Next, clear the results of the previous analysis by clicking the Remove button. Click the button for Create Analysis and select Current Schedule as the base project and Current Schedule Scenario as the comparison project. Forensics will now open with the Projects button selected. If you look at the remaining duration, you'll see that it has dropped from 504 to 327 days. Now click on the button for remaining duration. You'll see that the remaining duration has decreased for all 19 identified activities. For the last part of this exercise, let's compare our ribbons in the Diagnostics window. So click on the S2 Diagnostics tab and then click Fuse to display the results. Make sure that your ribbon view is Schedule Quality. You'll immediately see from the ribbons that the scenario has a decreased duration. Now look at the ribbon analyzer. Can you see any differences? Yes, there are visible differences. The number of critical activities has increased to 27 in the scenario. The number of activities with negative float has decreased to 10 in the scenario. The score has increased to 27% for the scenario, so the schedule quality has improved very slightly. All other metrics in the ribbon analyzer remain the same. Click the little home icon, then click on the Projects button to reset the ribbons. Lastly, select the S1 Projects tab and delete the current schedule scenario by highlighting it, then right-clicking and selecting Delete from the drop-down. Click Yes to confirm the deletion. Then close the Sample 360 workbook by clicking the Acumen Fuse icon at the top left, but don't save it. In the next lesson, we will define targeted acceleration and learn how to apply it to our analysis.